The hub up to this point was Jerusalem, the church at Jerusalem. Everyone looked to the church at Jerusalem. But from here on, they're going to look to the church at Antioch. All right, there's a shift that happens in Acts. The church at Jerusalem, and you'll see this in Acts 11. We did it last week. We looked at it. You look at the first 3 verses. They're very upset that Peter actually sat at a table with Cornelius. He went to Cornelius' house. Revival broke out there. Whole house gets saved. And they can't believe that. They're not rejoicing with Peter at that moment. They're reluctant. They're like, I can't believe, Peter, you did this. You went. I mean, they hear this great awakening happening at Cornelius' house, and he makes it. He pictures it as what happened at Pentecost, because there's no other reference he can reference it with. Peter says, just like what happened at Pentecost happened at Cornelius' house, and it shows you that Pentecost just didn't happen every day. It was something that was special, and he's like, well, you remember when that happened years ago? That's what just happened. I don't know how to explain it. And all they could get their mind wrapped around was, whose house were you at? Who are you hanging out with? Who received the good news of the gospel? See, this is important. The church of Antioch it shifted to a new way of thinking. Where the church of Jerusalem was set in the old way of thinking, the gospel was for us and only us. The church of Antioch was, let's show the inclusivity of God's love for all people. You look at Acts 13 and it's coming up, you'll see the leadership team of the church of Antioch, and it's people from all different places, paths, and perspectives. They come from all over the world. Okay, so let me say this. Being captivated by an old way of thinking, whether it's in your life, you're thinking about things the same way you always thought about things. Being captivated by an old way of thinking and clinging to old traditions has caused many churches and Christians to lose their gospel influence in their communities. And when you lose your gospel influence in your community, you lose your gospel impact on your community. Because your influence is connected to your impact. So in Acts 11, what we see is the evolution of this early church, and God takes the spotlight and He shines it from Jerusalem, and then He takes it to Antioch. And He says there's a vast difference between believers in Jerusalem and believers in Antioch. And really what He's asking us today, what kind of believers are we going to be? I know close churches and I know closed churches. I've seen them both. I've seen the gospel is for us, and we can say everything we want about our community and how much we love them, but let's not invite them in. See, what I love about Westlane is we got people here that speak all different languages. We got people here that come from all different places around the world. What I love about Westlane is Westlane supports workers, over 1,000 workers around the world. You're going to hear testimony of one in this message. But we get to be a part of that. And partnering with that, you get to be a part of that. But I always want that to be at the core, who we are. We are a church without walls. We are a church that loves people. This is a place where we come together, but the church is the people inside the place. You take away the place, you still got the people. So Jesus said it this way. Jesus said in Luke 5, 36 through 39, He talks about new wine in old wineskins. Now we don't do this, but what He's talking about is when you get a good new wine, and it's being fermented, what that wine is doing is it's expanding. It's growing. But if you take that old wine, that new wine, and you put it in an old wineskin, that old wineskin is not flexible enough to hold the new wine. And what happens is it busts and you waste the new wine. He said that's why you put new wine in new wineskins. And what it's talking about is an old mentality. You can't put what God's doing in this season in your old way of thinking. God may be doing something in this season that you never even thought would ever come or happen, but you got this old way of thinking that you got to let go of so you can open yourself up, because God is pouring out new wine in this season and He wants to bless your life. He wants to bless the church. If the church is entertaining old mindsets, they aren't going to give room to grow and have that flexibility. Hey, God, I want to change whatever it takes. God, change my outlook, and I know you will change the outcome. See, what I'm saying is we want to entertain new ways of thinking. We want to be more like the church of Antioch and not set in our ways and say, no, it's our way or the highway. Right. So much about our traditions that we can't see the move of God in our lives.